Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving head first into a truly fascinating journey through a deeply influential text. We're going to distill 26 pages of dense, scholarly commentary written by Maulana Maududi on Surah Ibrahim. It's an incredibly rich chapter of the Quran, and Maududi's analysis breaks it down into some universal, thought-provoking themes, things like truth, history, and justice. So whether you're totally familiar with the text or exploring it for the very first time, let's unpack the architecture of these ideas together.
Right out of the gate, this text hits us with one profound mission outlined in the very first verse. The goal is crystal clear, bringing humanity out of the darkness of ignorance and into the light of guidance. And the text sets this up not just as some spiritual idea, but as a total, radical transformation of the human perspective.
To navigate this massive document without getting lost in the weeds, we've structured Maududi's analysis into 6 overarching themes. We'll be looking at the journey from darkness to light, lessons from past nations, the parable of the 2 trees, Ibrahim's prayer for Makkah, Satan's final confession, and finally, the ultimate divine justice.
Section 1, From Darkness to Light, the Purpose of Revelation. Section 2, Lessons from Past Nations, the Historical Struggle.
So, how does this struggle actually play out? Well, the commentary makes a really crucial point. Divine revelation is basically an objective, guiding light. Without it, we humans kind of just stumble around in the subjective darkness of our own ignorance and personal desires. But Maududi doesn't just leave this as a lofty philosophical concept, he grounds it right in human history. Looking back at the nations of Noah, Ad, Thamud, and Moses, he points out this wild, repeating pattern. Successive prophets kept showing up with the exact same message, the exact same light. Yet, they consistently hit a brick wall of stubborn, institutionalized resistance. The powerful elites in these societies completely rejected the message just to protect their own status quo. And, as the text shows, that ultimately led to their total downfall. Now, seeing these historical cycles of defiance and destruction play out over and over across different eras, it naturally begs a huge question. How does the text actually separate lasting truth from temporary, fleeting falsehood? I mean, if history is just this constant, endless battle of ideas, how do we know what actually endures?
Which brings us to Section 3, the parable of 2 trees, the core metaphor. This concept is arguably the ideological anchor of the entire commentary. Maududi dives deep into the Arabic text to set up a definitive duality. It's fascinating because the Quran actually uses nature to explain complex human belief systems, splitting them into 2 very simple categories: the good word and the bad word.
Let's define those terms exactly as they're unpacked in the tafsir. The kalima tayyiba, or the good word, is defined as pure faith, absolute truth, and a worldview perfectly aligned with reality. On the flip side, you have the kalima khabitha, the bad word. This represents disbelief, polytheism, falsehood, and essentially a worldview built entirely on an illusion.
The contrast the text draws between these 2 is just incredibly stark. The good word, truth, is described as this magnificent, unshakable tree. Its roots are planted firmly into the earth, it's completely stable, and it's constantly yielding beneficial fruit for everyone around it. But falsehood, the bad word, it's likened to a dying weed. Sure, it might look prominent for a hot minute, but it is totally uprooted from the earth's surface. It's wildly unstable, a slight gust of wind could blow it over, and it literally lacks any lasting foundation whatsoever.
All right, Section 4. Ibrahim's prayer for Makkah, faith in action. Here's where Prophet Ibrahim shows us exactly what that good word looks like in practice. He isn't just sitting around wishing for abstract concepts. He is a leader actively petitioning for a healthy, functioning society. He asks for security for the city of Makkah, recognizing that peace is the absolute bedrock of progress. He prays for protection from idolatry, aiming to keep their ideology completely pure. He expresses profound gratitude for his descendants, and specifically asks that they establish regular prayer to keep that divine connection alive. This right here, this is the good word actively yielding its fruit in human civilization. Moving to Section 5, Satan's final confession, the ultimate realization. Now, verse 22 outlines an incredibly vivid and honestly chilling scene. The setting, it's after the ultimate judgment has been passed. The people who followed falsehood are sitting in hell, completely expecting Satan to take the fall for them. But instead, he stands up and directly addresses the condemned.
And his admission is absolutely devastating. He tells them, "I had no authority over you, except that I invited you, and you responded to me. So do not blame me, but blame yourselves." Wow, Maududi spends a lot of effort analyzing this complete psychological breakdown. Satan reveals he never actually had the power to force anyone's hand. He was literally just a whisper, a mere suggestion. What this means is that at the end of the day, individuals have to take absolute, inescapable responsibility for choosing that bad word. They uprooted their own tree.
And finally, Section 6, the ultimate divine justice, cosmic consequences. The final pages of the Tafsir unpack the profound apocalyptic imagery that closes out the surah. The text vividly describes a future day when the physical earth as we know it will be completely changed into another earth, and the heavens themselves will be transformed. Every single person will stand totally exposed before ultimate divine justice. Every hidden motive, every ignored truth, and every single adopted falsehood will be laid entirely bare with absolutely nowhere to hide.
So that leaves us with a pretty provocative thought to wrap things up. Maulana Maududi's commentary isn't just laying out some ancient history lesson. It's presenting a very clear, enduring division between the permanence of truth and the illusion of falsehood. Based on what we've covered today, if the ideological roots of our actions truly do determine our ultimate reality, what kind of tree are you planting today? Is it rooted in truth, or is it just a fragile weed? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.